Hello everyone. In this video I'm going to do a homework 3 sample assignment. So what that means is it's not going to be exactly homework 3, but you can use this as a reference or a guide to do homework 3. If some of you want, I can actually post the homework 3 video, how to do that after the assignments due. But you can use this one as to you can start your homework assignment or draw some ideas from it. So let's get started. So basically the idea here is we're gonna have the user input a string. So we'll do something like hello everyone. And from that string we want to find a substring. And so I want to find where 1 is found. And we're gonna enter where to begin. I'll begin from the beginning, which will be 0. And where to finish, if it's outside of this string, it really doesn't matter. But if you want it to be specific in a certain area within these strings, then it would matter. But here I'm just going to enter 100. And then it's going to tell me, well, you can find where 1 begins at location 11, which would be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So that's basically the program that we're going to write. So let's pull up the file sheet here. So we're going to have user string equals raw input, and we'll do enter a string, and then we'll do substring equals raw underscore input. We'll do find a substring, and we'll have begin equals integer raw input, and we'll do where to begin. Oops. And we'll do finish equals integer raw input, and there we'll do where to finish. And so these are going to be our variables that we'll use. And so let's see, we have the user inputs a string, and then from that we're going to draw a substring, and then from there we're going to find slices inside that substring. So we'll start with the while loop. So while begin is less than finish. We then want to index the user string to see if it'll equal the substring at any point. So let's make a new variable where we'll call index, and we'll set that equal to begin plus string length. What this means is we're going to find the length of that string. That way we know how long the string is and how long our index will be. So we don't have where we're just searching 1 by 1, but we might be searching 3 by 3 or 2 by 2, just to see. Oops, we don't need integer. We'll just do length, just to see how many times we're going to move over in a certain string to find where that string begins. So what this means is going to be index equals begin, which is wherever the user wants to start. So if it's 0, 1, 2, 3, or 4, and then where it begins, we're going to add the string length. So if the string is 5 characters long, it will start from, let's say, 3 to 8, and then from there it will make sure that the string is 5, and eventually it'll equal. We'll find out where that substring is. So let's do if our substring and we'll do our index, which will be begin. If this ever equals if this ever equals, let's hold on, not substring, let's do a user string because we're trying to find the substring. So if this ever equals this, then for this I'm going to use a list. Now remember, this is a sample assignment, so it's not going to be, may not be able to use list in the actual homework assignment, but maybe you can find other ways to store the values. So here I'll do a list l dot append, and I'm going to append begin, because wherever begin is, that's where the substring begins, and that's what we're going to store in our list. And then after it does that, we're going to increment begin by 1, and we're going to increment index by 1, so they both shift over by one space or character, and then it'll check to see if that next set of strings equal that substring. And then we'll do a for loop. So for, after this has run through and begin is finally equal to the amount of finishes and the while loop ends, we're going to do a for loop. So for elms in L, we then want to take these lists out and store them somewhere else. So I'm going to create another string called final, and we'll put in here location. And so for elements in the list L, we are going to find final, and we're going to add strings of those elements, and then we're going to add a comma, so that way we know where they're separated. And then once we're done with that, we want to print final. So let's try this out, and then we'll go over it if it works. Here we go. Enter a string. Let's do hello everyone. Find a substring. We'll do 1. Where to begin, 0, 100. Alright, so it works. Let me correct this here. Okay, so this is essentially what the homework 3 assignment asks us to do. This is a sample assignment, so it's not, you can use this code as a reference, but I wouldn't use it as your actual answer because it will be incorrect. So here's what we did. We prompted the user for a string. We then prompted the user for a substring to find. We then asked the user, where do you want to begin in this substring and where do you want to finish? We then find the length of that substring so we know how long it is and how far of an index we need to go over. We then find that index and we find the value of begin plus the string length. And then when we created a list, an empty list that equals an empty list, L equals an empty list, and then we find a variable called final, which we named location. That way we can find out, we can list where the location of these substrings are. And then we do our while loop. So while begin is less than finish, if the user string of begin to index, so this would be like a slice, so begin will equal 0. So in this case, let's say the index was about, let's see here, the string length was 3, right? Because substring here was 3. So this would be 0 and this would be 3. And then if the user string index from 0 to 3 equaled the substring, then it would store that value in the list. And then it will increase the value. They'll increase this by 1. It'll increase this by 1, and then this will be 4, and then so on until the end of the while loop. And then we go into our list here, and then we change those lists and put them in a string, and then we print that string out. So let's see, what if we did something else? Let me save F5. You can do this for, let's say, hello internet. And let's say you want to find the substring E. You can do E. Where to begin? Let's begin at 5. And you can end at wherever. And then it says, okay, location is 9 and 12. Okay, so some will say, well, what about the one at 1? Well, we started at 5, so we got to start 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it starts here, and it'll be 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that's essentially how that works. It tells us where to start, and that's where we'll go over here, and it'll go from there, so ignore everything before. And this is similar to what homework 3 asks us to do. I hope this helps, and I look forward to making more videos later.